You've made it. The world is quiet now, and it's just us. Welcome to the Savon Experience Pillow Talk Solo Edition, your safe space to reflect, exhale, and get real. I'm your host, Savon, and tonight we're diving deep. So get comfortable, take a breath, and let's talk.
That's what pillow talk is. Every week I'm pulling up with the real solo. No guests, no edits, just you, me, and the truth. So go ahead, get comfortable. You're tuned in into the Savon Experience. Pillow talk, solo edition. Let's talk.
Oh, honey, I'm live, darling. I am live for this Savon Experience Pillow Talk recording because, I did say that I wanted to start doing these live. Now, I don't expect a whole lot. I'm going to still get my message out there, and we still going to keep it cute within 30 to 45 minutes because that's what we do. That's what we're doing today. I don't know if I'm going to continue to do that tomorrow, but it's definitely what I'm doing today. Okay? You get what I'm saying? All of that. I just want to make sure that you guys are getting what I'm saying. So let's welcome.
This ain't your perfectly curated podcast.
It's not.
This is no filter, no fluff, just me in my pajamas. Tell me like it is.
Yes.
You ever needed a space to just breathe, to feel seen?
None stressed and just a little less alone at night.
That's what this is.
That's what pillow talk is.
Every week I'm pulling up with the real.
Ooh.
No edits, just see you, me, and the truth.
Just me, you, and the truth.
Go ahead.
My version.
Get comfortable.
Get comfortable,
You're tuned
booze.
into the Savon Experience. Pillow talk.
Hey.
Let's talk.
Hey. They say keep it cute, but I'm done with the mess. So this ain't no highlight reel, it's the shit you don't ask.
Unfiltered, unscripted, no dress.
No here.
Confessions you ain't used to hear.
Tired truth in a silk bonnet frame.
Dark, but I'm speaking with flame.
Hey.
So inside of says you ain't tuned in for fake.
It's as real at last.
Oh,
Come on, honey. Ooh.
to the quiet space.
Where the moonlight touches grace. So this is the Saving Experience. Let it flow, yes. Hey. Laid back whispers.
Straight from the heart.
Let the hey,
Come and walk this walk.
you're deep inside. Experience pillow talk.
Here. This is
Yes.
just me, unfiltered, uncut.
Unfiltered.
and all right.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank
the
you
night.
for joining
This has been the Savon.
the Savon Experience.
Talk until next.
Yes. Hey. Do down 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 la Hey, I love that version. Yes. Welcome to the Savon Experience Pillow Talk. All right, so let's get into it, y'all. Let's get into the things of things. Hopefully, you guys have been doing well. Hopefully, you guys have been having a cute little time. I had to take some time off because I wanted to celebrate my birthday. It's Libra season. You hear me? It's Libra season. It is our season. So if you're a Libra out there, honey, come on. We need a round of applause. Because it's our time. It's our time. You understand? So we are going to do what we need to do with this Libra season and bring fairness. We're going to try. Unity, girl. We're going to try to be level-headed and even about everything. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do much for my birthday. I will admit that. I didn't do much at all. I decided that I wanted to stay close to the house, and mind my business because, look, a lot of folks out there should be learning how to mind their business. They're not minding their business. You need to mind your business. So I stayed home and I minded my business and I enjoyed minding thine own business. And if you've not tried that before, you should definitely try minding your business. It really is something. It really is. It's really something to be proud of too. And it keeps you safe. It keeps you safe and it keeps you out of mess and it keeps you from fucking around and finding out. You know what I'm saying? Because you staying at home. You're libating, right? You're having you a cocktail, a libation, and minding thine own business, which is something that seems like an age-old thing that people just forgotten how to do. They are forgotten how to mind their own business. So, a lot of things have been going on. Listen, the last episode, I talked to you guys about, we've been on this kick about emotional intelligence. We talked about, when every ask feels like an attack, right? Because, sometimes, Jesus, Lord have mercy, sometimes things happen, honey. Sometimes we just need a moment so that our brevity won't be so attacking to others, so we don't feel so attacked, and we don't always get it. So I'm going to keep moving forward in that spirit because we need it. We need it. And there are a lot of things while watching what's happening in our world today, watching how, people are being affected both to the right and to the left, and how, the economy is currently. You know what I'm saying? So this episode, we're going to talk about a thing that we just can't avoid because, shit, it's all around. Joblessness. It's all around. And with joblessness on the rise and economic uncertainty growing, people everywhere are having to reexamine what they want versus what they actually need. I talked about this in one of my episodes, wants and needs. And as unemployment rates hover around 4.3%, many are facing loss, fear, and the pause that we fucking just never really asked for, right? So in this episode of the Savon Experience Pillow Talk Solo Edition, I want to take a moment to recognize, right, what's happening, and then break down the emotional, spiritual, and practical lessons that hit typically when life forces us to reset unexpectedly, right? The wants fall away, the needs remain because we got to eat. Right? We got to pay bills. We got to have a house. We got to have, you need accoutrements. You need necessities. And what's left is truth. So let's walk through that. But before we do that, let's have a lighthearted moment because listen, I had fun on my birthday. I'm going to share something with you. Okay. Yeah. So check it out.
We had a ball in that joint last night. I'm talking about I didn't even have no clothes on. I didn't even have no clothes on. I didn't even have no clothes on. We had a ball in that joint last night. I'm talking about I didn't even have no clothes on. I didn't even have no clothes on. Don't mess up a good time. Who did it? Who did it? You know. Who did it? Who did it? You know. We had
Listen, sometimes it is what it is. And we had a ball and shit. Things happen and regret sets in. So, I had to pull myself together and leave my dignity where it's at. All of that. And that's what I did. Okay. And so that's what happened. But let's get back to the topic right now because, I want to make sure that we're serious about it, but we're also having a good time on this evening, right? So the thing that I've noticed the most right now, that the unemployment rise is constantly like moving. Like when we think about everything that's happening in the government right now, the shutdown that's happening, and the shifts in budgets and all of the things. It feels like life is just as we knew it is just being pulled away from under us, right? And yes, my home was hit as well, with these changes, and we had to make changes to our personal economy, right? We had to look at wants and needs, still always looking at wants and needs, and looking at, how we spend and what we say, what are the necessities, and just kind of being there for each other. But one thing that I have noticed is there is this huge lack of just what it feels like compassion, amongst just the world, right? We have a lot of people that get online and talk about everything that's going on and how we've got to really kumbaya and be there for each other and just really show up and have this community. But oftentimes people in that moment when the shift happens, yes, there's like lots of support that it seems to be there, but honestly, it's not there long at all. You have to then sit and think, oh my God, okay, so this is the budget, this is what I have, and this is what I still have to do, and do I have credit protection? A lot of people don't think about when they buy cars and when even their credit cards, they have like Assurant Pro where you can have like credit protection that protects your bills when life shifts, right? Illnesses, having some sort of disability insurance when you can, those type of things we don't necessarily think about a lot. And we think about, oh my God, I want to spend extra money on it, but you never know when life is going to freaking hit you. Nivea, what's up, darling? Yes, darling. So you just never know when it's going to hit. So with that being said, what's up, Nivea, boo? With that being said, it's like you have to make financial decisions and changes so that you can adjust your personal budget, right? You have to adjust the way you move. You can't move the way you moved before. But you got to go back to bologna sandwiches and hot dogs and cheese and crackers. You understand what I'm saying? You have to go back to making the meals, honey. Them rice meals. What we used to call them, goulash, girl. You just put some stuff together in that pot. Because, when I was growing up, we did it. That's right, Nivea, budgeting is paramount. And we did what we needed to do. Girl, eggs, honey. It was a plethora of ways that we had egg sandwiches, girl. Egg souffle, egg goulash, honey. Whatever we had to do. Cheese sandwiches. We did what we had to do to make the budget, spread. And so when unemployment hits, right, suddenly you're stripped of the noise and the routine, you're instantly impacted by, oh my God, what in the fuck am I going to do? Right, Nivea, rice and ground beef and gravy will have you nice and full. My mom used to tell me, honey, it'll make a turd. Okay? It'll give you what you need. And so, when it hits, suddenly you're stripped of the noise and the routine, right? Some people experience that instant gratification of, oh my God, I don't have to deal with this shit no more. I ain't got to deal with this shit no more. Them folks get on my goddamn nerve. And I'm not making light of it, right? But it's like that's like sometimes that's the instant. I ain't gotta see so and so no more. Oh my God, because bitch, when I see her in the store now, I can punch her in the face and there'll be no recourse. Like there's things, that's why you gotta be careful how you treat people, because you never know when they're keeping a list, they're keeping a checklist in the back of their head. So like when opportunities open up, girl, they can like hand you one. Where's the lie? So I'm just like, oh, here it is. So it happens, right? So, and some people have the thought that, I'll just go out and I'll find something and I'll be fine, right? And sometimes things in life don't work out that way. It's not as the replacement income is not as quick as you think, right? There are the economy is so saturated, right? I'll share that my fiance definitely was impacted, right? And so with that, we had to make adjustments. We had to apply. Lots and lots to find the right fit. And things are different, right? So, we start accessing wants and needs, bitch. And y'all know I love me a good handbag, girl. I love me some things like that, but I will be honest with you. I will sell those bitches to pay my mortgage. I'll say it again. I will sell those bitches. That's why I take care of them. That's why I don't use them as often. I make sure they can be consigned, sold. So then my bottom line is taken care of. Girl, which car I gotta sell next? Like, I'm not being funny. I'm being for real. Like, you have to make these decisions, honey. And so when this happens, those wants versus needs come under pressure, girl. Sometimes you have to think like, oh, what are wants? Wants are comfort. Needs are survival. In case you didn't know, wants are comfort. Needs are survival. Eating out versus cooking at home. Rice and ground beef and gravy will get you nice and full, Nivea said. That's what she said. And that's right. Nice and full. So you have to think about that, right? It isn't about deprivation. It's about clarity. And so when sitting and looking at our budget, because things have changed, and we're like, okay, so we're going to do this. We're going to stop that. These subscriptions and the TV subscriptions, the Netflix, the Hulu, the Paramount, the Disney Plus. Girl, listen, we're not finna do this. We got Samsung TVs around here, so we're going to make sure the internet bill is paid so that we can continue to do this and then also watch those Samsung free channels. Girl, like cutting the packages back. What Nivea said, then wants will go out the window. They sure the fuck do. I want to have a house. That's a need for me to have a house because I don't want to be unhoused, right? And some people are facing a huge amount of financial uncertainty during this time, right? So one of the things that I ran into a friend last week, and she had told me, been catching up because everybody's working and everybody's busy and been catching up. She's like, listen, this is what happened. Things have happened. And she was like, initially when it happened, I was just like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Like, I've never been in this position before, and then she was like, she took a moment. She allowed herself to feel the emotions, right? She allowed herself to be in the moment. And then she was like, okay, I'm going to do what I can do. And she was like, honestly, she said, don't be shamed going back to Big Mama's house and make sure you're respected. RESPECT. Find out what it means to me. Oh, that was flat. Respect, honey. And I'm trying not to have to go back to Mama's house, okay? I'm trying not to do any of that. But sometimes these are decisions that have to be made for the long term for you to be okay, right? But she was like, listen, I've just had to make some adjustments. And she was like, but that, she said, now after she allowed herself to process the shock, and after me and fiance allowed ourselves, after me and babe, we allowed ourselves to feel the shock from it, right? We was like, okay, so we make these adjustments, right? We do what we got to do, honey. You see a OnlyFans pop up with my toes. Mind your business. Mind your business. The right way. Just go out there and subscribe and throw a coin and give me feet pics suggestions, okay? And then, you know, mind your business, squirrel. But I'm just saying, like, you gotta do what you gotta do. So she said, you know, listen, things changed. And she's like, I have a level of peace now that I did not know that I would have. Nivea, y'all think I'm playing because we hustlers at heart, right? Hustlers. These big old fingers, I'll also put some finger picks out there. I take the rings off because I don't want to be identified. Finger picks, girl, toe picks, whatever's needed, whatever's necessary for it to happen. That's what I want to do. That's what we're doing. That's what's happening. And so she said, look, no one likes losing income, right? No one likes that shift. She said, but the pause can show you what you couldn't see while hustling, right? The pause can sometimes show you what life has been happening and you've been just existing, right? It showed, it expressed or exposed or gave clarity of self-worth outside of productivity. You're like, when you think about your day being made of whatever it is that you do during your day, and you're not doing that anymore, that pause gives revelation. That's right, Nivea. It gives revelation and it gives clarity. And you just sit back and you just like, oh, hold on. And Nivea, I need to know how are things going with you, by the way? Like, you know, nursing, like all the things, we got to catch up. But like, it brings that clarity, you know, and sometimes, you know, it's not always a setback. Sometimes it's a reveal. I've been here before as well. It just showed me all the things that I'm not going to do the next time around. It shows boundaries that you want to make sure you no longer allow people to pass, right? You want to, it gives you structure in those moments. And so what she learned and what we're learning in that moment is, I'll say this, and I know this is not everybody's experience, and you know, when life hands you a change, it's amazing sometimes the gifts that come from it. Like, you know, the day-to-day that happens in our lives that shifted once we were impacted. And I'll have to say, I feel like me, and if I'm speaking from a personal perspective, me and Bae like are even closer throughout the experience. We saw how the stress of certain things was causing issues, turmoil. I don't say that I'm not going to say that we didn't really show up for each other, but having to show up for self so that you can continue to take those steps and live that existence and wash, rinse, and repeat sometimes creates a void with each other where you're not really checking in. It happens with friends. It happens with family. It happens in an array of areas. And so when you see that, you begin to like, oh, you know, in that moment, it's like, oh, wait. And even though you're still in survival mode, right? You think less about the comforts, right? That $8 coffee, is this a need or impulse? You know what I'm saying? Do I need this particular brand or do I get the store brand? Do I get Purity? Do I get Kraft? Do I get the store brand? Do I get Kroger's? Do I get Great Value? Do I go to Dollar General? And this is like no slam for any of that, because baby, I've done that, and I'm like, oh shit, this was actually better. Just saying. It just really does redefine needs when resources are limited, right? You're able to say, okay, is this really worth me spending, or can I do something else? Girl, hot dogs. Girl, yes, strip away the fillers for the necessary, right? Like, we don't need all that, right? And so when that shift happens and that gift comes, then you start thinking about what you can do moving forward to make life better as you know it, right? What can I do to simplify? I don't need all this stuff. Maybe I don't need all these TV subscriptions, and I don't need all the bells and whistles of everything. I don't need all that. It's great to be able to have those things, because when you work hard and you play hard, you should be able to do both of those things hardly, because you do both of the things. You invest in both those things equally. However, you have to also be able to make those changes and know that it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to feel bad about. We all get impacted. Every last one of us. Whether you're helping family, whether you're helping yourself, whether you're being helped, right? Remember those people who are there for you in those moments when you needed them the most. Because see, those that showed up for you when things were great, everything was wonderful. See, that's easy. Who listens to you, take the call, let you, lay on that shoulder, let you express your feelings, let you get it all out. Come check on you, girl. Listen, I'm going to the store. I'm just going to pick up a few things. Don't know if you need anything, but I'm going to drop off some little, essentials there without having to ask. It's these type of things that really show, one, how you give and how you put into those that you say you care about, your friends. I also believe it also sow into the universe, so that if your time, when, because we all go through ups and downs, right? You're able to pull out of that. So when you do for people and you show up for people and you encourage people and you do all those things, you are sowing into that karma, or that, that I call it, you are sowing seed in to people, and I believe that it'll come back to you. I really do. You can just call and check on them, because you may not have it to give. But one thing I will say, while in that moment, being the person who's going through that moment, it is very easy to also feel some type of way about those who've not been impacted. Let's shift and talk about that a little bit, because we've got about a few more minutes, How not to let animosity, jealousy. I'm going to leave right the animosity and jealousy, because in that moment you feel away, right? There's some people like, oh my God, I did everything that I was supposed to do, and I don't understand how this happened. And that's a very fair question. I do know that sometimes God will move you out of a situation so that he can put you in the situation that the position that he wants you to be in. Also, Nivea, it's easy to let bitterness slide in. And when you do that, I'm not saying not to feel that moment, not to feel that feeling, because it's very human to feel that. But if you stay in it, then you will no longer see the next step. You won't see what you need to do next, and you won't take the next steps to make sure that you get out of that and get to where it is that you're destined to go next, because you're going to be so focused and hyper vigilant. That was the last episode, right? On what's happening to others that you feel either shouldn't be, and you got to check that. You got to check that. And I know it's hard. I am human. I know it's hard. It's easy looking to be like, why this shit don't ever happen to this person? They do this. They don't value what they have. They don't do the right thing. They don't show up and give their most, the most. They do the minimum. Are they really going about it the wrong way? Or has an experience like this allowed them to make sure they have the balance in their lives so that it happens again, they're not sitting there like, oh my God, I gave them all. You get what I'm saying? It's a very human response to have. And you gotta have it, but you gotta also stick to the next steps, right? What do I have to do? I have to be practical with my budgeting. I've got to slow down spending. I have to start journaling things to identify and separate wants from needs. And sometimes it's very hard because when you spoil self, and I'm someone who is definitely spoiled. When you spoil self, it is very hard to identify something that's a need and a want. And it really starts hurting the rebuilding process. And then you got to also understand in that moment that I want to say how hard seasons revealed something about values, priorities, or relationships. Because I kind of skated through that. When we were talking about in those moments and people are checking on you and people are showing up for you when they don't have to because they heard and they listened, or they're sending you jobs descriptions and jobs that they saw posted, or they say, hey, if you see something here, I know someone there and they're helping. Like, don't take that type of stuff for granted. And if somebody don't have those connections, don't hold that against them either, right? That's right, Nivea. Self-regulation is a task. It is a constant work. And one thing, Nivea, that I wanted to do and why I switched up how my lives and podcasts and I kind of shifted things is because I really wanted to get in a space where I could share things that I've learned in life, things that I've experienced. I didn't have to get on here and tell nobody that my household was impacted and that we had to make a shift. I'm also not fucking ashamed of it because it happens. It happens to the best of us and it happens to the rest of us. It happens to the worst of us. But what I do know is that it's how you move in those moments and how you stay widely alert to the things happening around you, because sometimes if it don't move you, you don't move you. And so it has to happen. And then also, while we were talking about the gift in that forced pause, you have to make sure that in that moment, while you're pausing, you're actively being still and being aware, because that's a part of your prep for the next day. You want to be able to see all the things, the trends, the things that you're supposed to learn from that situation, right? And then you have to also understand, how is it simplifying? I know also, like I said, I've been hit with this before, and it was during a time when it was like, oh my God. I think with my other home, it was, I had and this is when Obama was in office, and that's when they had the whole adjustable rate mortgages, right? The ARMs. Girl, don't. Oh, I want to tell folks, don't ever do that shit. Just don't ever do that shit. Because what those are really made for, they're for people or professionals who are in a position. They're a doctor, lawyer, judge, somebody who is entering a position and they're just out of school and they have like this contract with their employer where after so many years they'll make a subset amount of money. And so those type of adjustable rate mortgages were really geared towards people who pretty much knew they were going to be making more money in a certain amount of time, and it just got them into the house that they want at the time, while also knowing that, hey, this rate is going to adjust, so you need to make sure you get to where you want to be and make the money that you need to make to afford this so you can get up out of this. And some people didn't really understand that, right? And so that's when we had that first housing market crash. And what I learned in that moment, for me, and when things shifted and I had to readjust, realign, and reset. One of the great things that came out of it, then there were programs that were out that allowed people with adjustable rate mortgages to refinance without having to requalify and be placed on, I'm gonna say, somewhat of a fixed rate. Now, it would start you at a lower rate, and then over the course of 3 to 5 years, it would go up. But after that fifth year, it would stay at that rate, stay there, right? And it wouldn't increase. So then now you're on a fixed rate, and you're able to stay in your home. Yes, honey, flippers that never intended to have their loan very long. Yeah, and then when you end up having to have that loan a whole lot longer than you anticipated, you have to realize how you can afford it. Also, for those who get houses and want to rent, make sure when you buy a house, I know we've shifted, but this is how we go. I mean, when you buy a house, make sure you can also afford to not only pay for that house when the house is empty, but then also maintain the house if the house is damaged or need repairs and you have renters. When you trying to be a boss and a hustler, you got to learn how to do that. And that's a whole nother episode. We'll get there. But what happened to me in that space and what came out to be a blessing for me is the fact that then, okay, I was able to have my house that was adjusting in the rate I had. It was able to have, it was a fixed rate. And it helped me so much. And not having anything or not having a lot of income coming in then help with the qualification. And I didn't understand at the time what was going on and what happened, but when it happened, and then looking back and seeing the benefits of it, I was like, oh, but God. And then, check this out. So with that particular, I'm oversharing. When that particular incident happened to me, there was also a balloon payment that would have been due in the 30 years, right? With that particular, see, people don't want to talk about how they getting into things. And sometimes when you look, this is why I say looking at people's situation and feeling some kind of way, feeling animosity or feeling bitterness or feeling jealousy without knowing all the details, you don't know if they're in a better situation or not. You are looking from the outside, looking in, and you're looking at what the picture they have shown you, right? And so in that moment, I was like, okay, well, listen, the interest rate is locked in. We'll worry about the balloon payment when it's time to come. Well, the loan provider that had the loan on the house, that had the mortgage, had been sued. And so they had some unsavory practices. Let's just say that. And I'm not going to mention the name. I'm going to do any of that. And the judgment that came from that settlement, what they did for me and mine was to write off the balloon payment. You understand? So all that overpayment and fees that you was charging me erroneously for shit that don't make sense. You charging me a fee to pay my mortgage. You calling all the time. And that's why they have a lot of these accents. Won't he do it? Yes, he will. Listen, I think we need another round of applause for that, because when I tell you there was a praise dance going on right there, I was like, shit. Yeah. Because, baby, I was like, oh. And so I was like, listen, I'll take it. So you mean to tell me I am now in a fixed rate. The rate is lower than it would have been if I was able to refinance at the time and get a fixed rate. And the balloon payment is gone. Shit. Girl, if all these things hadn't happened to me during that time, right? You see what I'm saying? Like, sometimes things align and you don't know. And when she was sharing with me as well that, you know, it's been a minute and she's still thriving and she's still doing her thing and she hasn't had to change much about her lifestyle, some other things. I'm like, see? And now that she's looking, she has a little more options, right? Into where she lands, because, listen, she don't need as much as she needed before. So now she's rebuilding with intention, right? Those hard times stripped her, prepared her, stripped me to the core. And that's why now in these moments, I'm like, it can happen again. And yes, I allowed to bless myself, but I also blessed myself and took care of things so I can sell those items. I only can carry one purse at a time. So, love my rings, but I will go and sell them motherfuckers too. Girl, I can't sleep on no ring. I can't eat off no... Girl! And I think being able to separate from things like that makes the times more bearable and also creates a space where you can survive. It happens. People go up and people go down. Sometimes you see the same people that was shitting on you when you go up, and when they come down, they see the same people they was shitting on when they was... That's why you got to be... That's why emotional intelligence and treating people right is so important. What you sow into the atmosphere, when you sow into the universe, comes back on you. It does. So when you being somebody, if you are in a position and you messing with people, shitting on them, trying to make their lives difficult, and sometimes you may not even know why you're doing it, understand that shit gonna come back on you. It is like an escalator. Yes, ma'am. It is. And so you have to know that there are seasons. Seasons. And you might be in your season of winning. And when you're in that season of winning, you have to also be in that season of prep for when it changes. You want to put things in place so that when you're not winning in that space, because it also going to be a time for somebody else to win, right? It's going to be another time. So you want to maintain, you want to make sure you're good. You want to be able to still move forward, right? You want to be able to, hell, have an OnlyFans and showing your toes and fingers, honey, and discreetly and grow and make that coin on the side. And don't have to know about that passive income. OnlyFans ain't just about the other stuff they talking about, girl. There's a lot of things that you can do. There's a market for everything, guys. There is somebody out there that wants to see it. Okay? So when life forces a reset, because we're going to close here, clarity comes. It's painful. Don't I know it? It is painful. It is brutal. The nights, the tears, the snot, the tissue. Girl. But it's also powerful. Those wants fall away. The needs remain. You have to make necessary adjustments. And in the quiet, you get to see yourself clearly and those around you. People who said they fucked with you. Honey, will they? And so if you're in the season right now, know that you are not alone. There is a chance to rebuild with intention, not impulse. And if you want to share your story, honey, what did this shift teach you? Drop it in the comments. I would love to read them, see them, and just kind of, engage with you. What did it teach you about what you truly needed? What did it teach you about the way you moved before and how you're moving now? And let's keep the conversation going. Have you some fun and stay safe, y'all. Y'all know. Keep it cute, keep it Savon, and keep it you. Okay? So I'm going to end the stream. Nivea, thank you so much for rolling through. Love you, miss you, all those great things, honey. Like, share, and subscribe if y'all feel somebody needed this message, because you just never know who's out there going through their storm, and you just may not know. Check in on your folks and do it with good intentions. Don't do it to be nosy. Just being nosy. And help your folks. All the things, auntie. Yes, I love you, Nivea. Y'all have a very good night. I'm going to chop this up, and I'm going to post some shit. All right? Bye, y'all. Thank you for sharing this moment with me. Remember, grace isn't just for others, it's for you too. Until next time, this has been the Savon Experience Pillow Talk Solo Edition. Be kind, be soft, be you.
Let it flow. No mask, no noise, just my truth in the dark. Laid back whispers straight from the heart. Let the world now come and walk this walk. You're deep inside the Savon Experience Pillow Talk.